country of Persia no longer exists in its original incarnation, but the games The Prince of Persia have a long and rich and vibrant history, but no game in the Prince of Persia lineage stands as tall as Sands of Time from 2003. It's number 30 in our countdown of the 100 greatest video games of all time, and I know you're a big fan of this one, my friend.
Because who isn't a big fan of this one? This was a game.
Magic, right?
It was magic, and it was also a game that exemplified the mastery that Ubisoft Montreal had with game development early in the 2000s.
When I think about this game in my memory, I can't tell if I actually played it or if I dreamed it, because it does have such a strong fairy tale quality to it.
Isn't it? Yeah.
It is, and it is the sense of place that the castle has, but it's more than that. It's the characters of the prince and Farah, the girl that he falls in love with, and that's the thing that people always forget about this game. They always think, oh, this is the one where you had the slowed down combat and all the cool stuff. This was the one where you could run along the walls. This is one of the only games I can even think, I can probably count on one hand, that has a legitimate, believable, credible love story in it.
They nailed it the first time. It may never have sold as big as an Assassin's Creed game, and maybe they had more success with the more violent Prince of Persia games.
Remember The Warrior Within, where they just made it more extreme, and they had that soundtrack from like the Nine Inch Nails and stuff, and it's just like, no, the first time was okay.
The
first
time
back there.
was the best time.
They didn't hit the sales, I guess.
Do you think I felt regret as I gazed upon the destruction we had wrought?
Because of that, I think it's kind of tarnished our memory of how incredible this game was and how unique it was. But this was the game, I think, where for a long time in my career covering video games, it was rare in the N64 era that I just looked to as, holy crap, these guys are the gods of game making. But then Ubisoft comes out with this, and they come out with Beyond Good and Evil and Splinter Cell.
This was part of their statement year.
Absolutely.
This is really right when Ubisoft arrived, and this is also looking back the early 2000s, really, truly, in retrospect, as we go through this list, the golden age in video games.
Absolutely, and look at how many games have been influenced by Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. But before you do that, look at this old review.
And look at the hairstyles in this one.
We're going to talk now about a very special brand new game. It's called Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. We took a look at it on the PS2, but it's also available for the Xbox, GameCube, and PC. And this one's from Ubisoft. What'd you think of this one, man?
Prince of Persia has been around a long time. For those of you who don't know it, it's been around since the late 80s. It was actually the very first video game I ever worked on, was Prince of Persia way back when.
Well, what's interesting is that the guy that created Prince of Persia originally, Jordan Mechner, he is involved in this project as well as a game designer and as a consultant. And he worked with the team at Ubisoft Montreal to create one of the most beautiful video games I've ever played. The graphics in this thing are unbelievable. The really big story about this game is all of the incredible animations and abilities that our hero, the Prince, is capable of.
Which is exactly what the original Prince of Persia, what made it so revolutionary, was the amazing animations and moves.
They used rotoscoping back then. Now they're using 3D hand-animated stuff and a plethora of different animations. I mean, this guy, he can climb up poles, he can bounce off of walls.
Running off the wall was incredible to me, and flipping off walls is incredible. You can do flips around poles, which is really neat. But one of my favorite things to do is that when you're in battle, you can hit the X button and jump over a guy, and it kind of goes into slow mode. And as you jump over, you can be hitting them or stabbing them.
And that stuff is all great on the surface and very fun to go through for the first time in real time. But then one other excellent element that they've added to the gameplay is the ability to control time.
The Dagger of Time.
As the Prince, you pick up this artifact. It's the Dagger of Time, and it is in control of the Sands of Time, and that gives you the ability to actually stop time and freeze frame and also slow down everything.
And reverse.
Reverse. You can actually go back in time, so if you fall and die and kill yourself somehow, you can press that L1 button and start over again without dying.
What I loved about this game, though, was the whole kind of in-game tutorial that always kind of happens. You never really feel like you're stuck.
I'm giving Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time 10 out of 10, my highest recommendation.
Prince of Persia gets a 10!
Congratulations to Ubisoft, and congratulations to the team behind Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. You are number 30 on our list of the 100 greatest video games of all time.